from the guys calling the game to the guys back here watching the game. There was a lot of frustration also with the players on the court. So we want to get into that right now, but we also want to bring in Steve Javie because I know he at halftime had some things to say about it as well. And Chauncey, do you want to lead this as we start to talk about what we saw or didn't see?
Absolutely. Steve Javie, Chauncey Billups here.
What do you say, Chauncey? How are you?
Everything is good, man. Got a question for you. Obviously, there's a lot of questions for you, I'm sure, but I just feel like the referees all year long did a really good job of protecting the shooter, calling those fouls. And today, the game one of this series, I don't feel the same way. Is there anything? Are they reffing harder? Is that area in front of the shooter? Is it different? Like, what's going on?
The landing spot?
No, I know what you're saying. And if you notice in the first half, we talked about the 3 plays that we showed during the first half where the shooter wasn't allowed to come down. What happens, this is not an easy play, obviously, to referee in real time, as we know. But what happens sometimes is as a referee, you get stuck watching the shot and whether he gets hit on the arm, that your eyes don't go down because the fundamentals are to referee up, then down, and you go to your rebound. Well, in situations like this, I think the referee, he got to the down part a little too late, and so he's not going to guess on the play. But as we saw, the defender did get into the shooter's landing area in the first half, yes.
Steve, for the officials, we clearly see that there are a couple of important blown calls with those shooters that you and Chauncey were just talking about. What level of discipline and or responsibility you think comes post-game from the league as well as the officials?
Well, I don't know if there's any level of discipline. It's a matter of just like anything else. When you watch the film afterwards, the one thing I always did, because you're always going to miss plays every game, unfortunately. You don't try to miss them, of course, but after the game, when you watch your film with the guys, you sit there and you try to wonder, why did I miss that play? Were my eyes too long with the shot up and I didn't get my eyes down? And sometimes these plays happen in 2/10, 3/10 of a second, and when you don't get your eyes down quick enough, you can miss that play and you don't want to guess on the play. So you try to learn from it and move on, but as far as discipline-wise, unfortunately, guys, there are going to be missed plays in the game.
Steve, thanks so much.
But Chauncey, I never missed one on you, Chauncey.
Steve, you know what? You cost me a lot of money in my career. Those technical fouls.
Waiting on this.
I mean, but you're my guy, though.
It's like some tension in the air coming from this end. Steve, thanks a lot. I know you guys were frustrated watching because it wasn't 1 or 2 of these. It seemed to be a lot. The guys, obviously, you know, there's a joke. Jeff Van Gundy thinks no call is ever an actual foul. But today was the first time in a long time where it seemed like everyone was siding with the players on the frustration level. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And the game has changed a lot since I was in a situation in 2000 versus Kobe Bryant, and I made a play like that against him. Not that it's cute, not that I'm proud of it or anything like that. I didn't wake up that morning and say I was going to do that. But what ends up happening as the game has progressed with Zaza Pachulia and Kawhi Leonard in particular winning at Golden State by 20 points and that play takes place, you feel like these type of situations would not continue to happen and continue to compound themselves. Like, we counted maybe like 6 or 7 plays like that.
Oh, yeah.
And now I'm going to be interested to see if the league comes out and acknowledge how many of those were actually missed.
On the flip side of it, we all have played a lot of playoff basketball. Now, we know that the calls that are made in the regular season, sometimes you don't get in the playoffs. We all know that. Sometimes it's a little tougher, so a lot of times maybe the ref will let some things go, let you play a little more.
That seemed like a lot today, though.
Yeah.
That's some obvious calls, though.
That's some
obvious calls.
We have regular season call and there's playoff calls. Those calls that James Harden every year get in the regular season, he doesn't get in the playoffs. You got to take it. You got to take something and give something because we all know playoff basketball is different. You don't get the calls.
But isn't the fear here that those specific calls, the whole defender and the landing area, is that somebody gets hurt?
Listen,
is that not?
They got lucky nobody got hurt
Right.
today. But here's the problem. It's a 4-point game. This thing came down to a 4-point game. We're talking about possibly 14, 15 free throws that could have been shot. It decides a game. And listen, I'm going to be fair to the referees here because just like players, we all have bad games.
Sure.
To me, they had a bad game. And that's fine. That's okay to have a bad game. But let's call it that. Let's not just say, okay, the goalposts have shifted now because of the playoffs. Those are obvious fouls to me.
Guess who's still here? Steve Javie wants to address. Steve, what's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Paul, we don't have playoff calls and we don't have regular season calls. And I'm just trying to, I know what the narrative you're trying to spin here. And that the playoffs, you have to admit, guys, you guys contest every shot, every possession. It becomes a more difficult game to officiate. And there are going to be plays to be missed, there's no doubt. Obviously, as the defensive pressure goes up, players turn the ball over too. Referees are going to miss the call. But I just wanted to make a distinction. There's no such thing as a playoff call or a regular season call. They shouldn't be.
There shouldn't be. I like the
I
attitude.
just feel like in my years in the playoffs, y'all let us play a little bit more than the regular season. You
Well,
know?
Paul, what it was is as I said, the fact is you guys contest everything. You can't do it for 82 games.
Right,
But in the series, you guys are up contesting every possession, every rebound, every shot, and there's going to be a little more contact than usual during the regular season. So therefore, there's going to have a little bit more contact in the playoff than it would be in the regular season.
All right, Steve. Thank you for clearing that up for us. Yeah, Paul. You're going to get us everyone in trouble.